Pre-Calc 2.5, here's your homework. The first 4 questions want you to state in symbols, if x is not negative, to me that's saying it's positive. If it's not negative, it's positive. And all the positive numbers are from greater than 0 and on. 0 is not considered negative or positive. So technically this should be a parenthesis 0 to infinity. Or you could write x is greater than 0. And this is the same. T is positive. Again, it would be 0 to infinity. So t is greater than 0 or 0 infinity. Next one. C is at most 3. So if you think of 3 as your critical number, the most it is 3. So it's all of these numbers. That's the biggest. So it's including 3. So this would be negative infinity to 3 with a bracket. Or you could say x is less than or equal to 3. And z is at least negative 17. So it would be negative 17 and greater. So this would be bracket negative 17 to infinity, or x is greater than or equal to negative 17. Okay, represent this on a number line. So they're saying parentheses 0, bracket into 8. So at 0 and 8, you're including 8, and not, it's in between 0 and 8, parenthesis at 0, bracket at 8. This one has brackets at negative 2 and negative 1, so it's everything in between. And this one is parenthesis at negative 1, parenthesis at 1, and everything in between. And this one's going to be a bracket at negative 2 and a parenthesis at 7. Next, use interval notation to denote the set of real numbers, x, that satisfy this. So the graph of this would be a 5, an 8, and everything in between. So in interval notation, it would be 5, 8. This one, parenthesis negative 3, parenthesis 14, so negative 3, 14. And x is greater than or equal to negative 8. This would be bracket negative 8, comma, infinity. Solve the inequality. I believe that's a plus sign. It's 2x plus 4. So you're going to subtract 4. So 2x is less than or equal to 3, divide by 2. So x is less than or equal to 1.5. They want you to express this in interval notation. So if it's less than 1.5, it would be, this is the graph of it. It would be 1.5, bracket, shade that region. So we're going to do negative infinity, comma, 3/2, bracket. And you don't have to graph these, just write them in interval notation. Subtract 3. Negative 5x is less than 10. Divide by negative 5, and you have to flip the sign. So x is greater than negative 2 would be a parenthesis at negative 2 to infinity. Number 21, subtract x. 5x, we're going to subtract 3, and x is less than or equal to negative 8/5. And so this would be a parenthesis negative infinity, comma, negative 8/5, bracket. Next one, I would subtract 2x. You could actually add 7x, but this is fine too. Subtract 4. Negative 9x is less than negative 8. Divide by negative 9 and flip the sign.
No. Here.
Whoops, subtract 5. Subtract 5, this should be negative 9. My bad. This should be negative 9. Divide by negative 9. And x is, flip the sign, greater than negative 1. Be positive 1.
That the 9 is negative.
Negative 9x. Oh, this is negative 9, yep. So this should be, you do flip the sign, but it's a positive 1. My bad. So x is greater than 1 would be a 1 to infinity. So I made 2 errors here. This should be a negative 9. And divide by negative 9, it's a positive 1. Negative 9 over negative 9 is positive 1. But don't forget to flip the sign because we divided by a negative. Okay, 25. We're going to add 4. So 6 is less than 3x less than 12. Divide by 3. So 2 is less than x less than 4. So it's between 2 and 4. So, whoops, parentheses, 2 comma 4. And this answer would be parentheses 2 comma 4. Here's the graph of it. Here's the inequality in interval notation. 27, you're going to subtract 5. Negative 5 is less than negative 2x, less than or equal to 6. And then divide by negative 2. So we have to not only simplify this, but flip the sign. Now, what's wrong with this is the order of the answer. You should have negative 3 on this side and 5 halves on that side. So you're going to flip everything. So the answer is between negative 3 and 5 halves.
The 5 halves one isn't equal to.
This one's not.
No, the other one.
This one's not equal to. Okay, so it would be a bracket, negative 3 comma 5 halves with a parenthesis. Okay, the next one. This one, we are going to distribute the 7, so 2x plus 21x minus 14 is less than 2x minus 2. We're going to simplify. This is going to be 23x. Subtract 2x. So we have 21x here. We're going to add 14. You get 12. And x is less than 12 21st. Now we can divide the top and the bottom by 3, and you get 4 7s. So x is less than 4 7s. So that would be from negative infinity to 4 7s with a parenthesis at both ends because it's not equal to. Okay? And this one, you're going to multiply everything by 6 because we have fractions. 2 goes into 6 3 times, so it's 3 times x plus 1 minus 18x is less than or equal to, that goes in at 2 times, so 2 times x plus 5. So 3x plus 3 minus 18x is less than or equal to 2x plus 10. These two add to be negative 15x. You can add 15x here, you get 17x. Subtract 10, you get negative 7. And now divide by 17. Negative 7 17ths is less than or equal to x, or x is greater than or equal to negative 7 17ths. So that would be a bracket at negative 7 17ths, comma, infinity. That's the interval notation answer. Backside. Now this one you're going to want to separate. you're gonna wanna write that problem out because we have variables on both sides. So you're gonna write 2x plus 3 is less than or equal to 5x plus 6, and this part right here, 5x plus 6 is less than negative 3x plus 7. So now let's subtract 2x. You get 3 is less than or equal to 3x plus 6. Subtract 6. Negative 3 is less than or equal to x. 3x. Divide by 3. So negative 1 is less than or equal to x. Up.
Negative.
Okay, x is greater than or equal to negative 1. And this side, I'm going to add 3x. I'm going to subtract 6. X is less than 1/8. So your answer is x is greater than or equal to negative 1 and less than 1/8. So it's between. The correct answer in interval notation would be negative 1 with a bracket, comma, 1/8 with a parenthesis. So, or this is another way you can write it with all of that. So this would be like set notation, and that would be interval notation. And we have 3 minus x less than 2x plus 1. And then this side would be 2x plus 1 less than or equal to 3x minus 4. So I'm going to add an x here and subtract 1. Divide by 3. So 2/3 is less than x, or we could say x is greater than 2/3. We added an x, that's 3x, subtract 1, that's 2, that's correct, right? And this side, we're going to subtract 2x, you get x, add 4, you get 5, and this is x is greater than or equal to 5. So where are the x values greater than 2/3? This is an interesting one. This is greater than 2/3 and greater than 5. So it would be, the intersection would be this, x is greater than or equal to 5. So it would be 5 comma infinity. That would be your answer, because it's where are these two intersecting, so it would be from 5, including 5 to infinity. Okay, now these are the quadratic ones. If you were to factor this one is factorable. X times x, negative 3, negative 1, multiply to give you 3, but add to be negative 4. So 3 and 1 are your roots. So this is a parabola. It would be shaped like this. This is your 1, this is your 3. So what part of this graph is less than or equal to 0? It's this piece right here, including the 1 and the 3. So the answer in interval notation would be bracket 1 with a 3 in a bracket. Now 43, this one is not factorable because I don't know what two numbers multiply to give you 15 but add to be 9. So you're going to want to use either the quadratic formula or you can use your calculator. If you use the quadratic formula, you will end up with, for 43, negative x is equal to negative 9 plus and minus the square root of 21 over 2. That's if you use the quadratic formula correctly. Now, if you graph it on a calculator, if you do this on the graphing calculator, I'm going to do it with this. I'm going to type x squared plus 9x, and then plus 15. Hit graph, and there are my two roots. So to find the first one, hit second calc, 0. It's between negative 9 and negative 5, negative 6.8. So that would be the -9 minus root 21 over 2. Then this answer, if you do second calc 0, that looks like it's between -5 and -1. That one's -2.2. And so -2.2 is the -9 plus root 21 over 2. So what part of the graph is greater than or equal to 0? It's this piece right here and that piece. So the correct answer would be from -infinity to -6.8, union, and actually we're going to use brackets here because it's including that 0. And then it would be -2.2 comma infinity. For 47, this is x cubed minus x. If you factor out an x, this one's factorable. And you can factor the difference of two perfect squares. Okay, so this is, we learned last year that, I'm going to graph it, it's going through, the right side's going to be going up, and it's going to be going through 1, 0, and -1. So if you look at the graph of it, we did these in class last year, x cubed minus x. So this is going through -1, 0, and 1. And we learned about the right and the left behavior. The right side's going to be going up, and the left side's going to be going down. And it's going through all these zeros. So it looks like this. So here are your 3 zeros. So now I want the part of the graph that's greater than or equal to 0. So using my little highlighter, this part is greater than 0, and so is this. So the correct answer would be from -1 to 0. We're going to use brackets because it's including it. So -1 to 0, bracket, union, 1 to infinity. This is the part that's above the x-axis. Okay, number 49. You could factor an x out of here. This is factorable. And then you could factor this to find out the zeros are 0, 3, and -1. So this one is, since the multiplicity of each 0, I can do this without a calculator, but I'm going to show you both ways. This is -1, 0, and 3. So this thing is going to be going like this. And I'm going to show on the calculator how you can get that. You can take x cubed minus 2x squared minus 3x and graph it. And that's exactly what I just kind of drew. Close. So now, what part of the graph is less than 0? It's this piece right here and this piece. So the correct answer, and we're not including those zeros. So it would be from -infinity to -1, union, and it's hitting at 0 to 3. So it's from -infinity to -1, and from 0 to 3. And the last one. We could factor this. This is factorable. There's 4 zeros here. X squared minus 4, x squared minus 1, and x minus 2, x plus 2, x minus 1, x plus 1. So now your zeros are 2, -2, 1, and -1. So if we sketch this graph, you get x to the 4 minus 5x squared plus 4 should look like a W. And it's hitting at -2, -1, 1, and 2. So it looks like a W. I'm gonna draw the picture here. You can see what I'm doing. So the solution, these are your zeros, and I want the part that's less than 0. So it's this piece right here and this piece right here. And we're not including the 2, the -2, the 1, and the -1. So the answer in interval notation would be parenthesis, -2, comma, -1, parenthesis, and 1 to 2. No brackets because there's no bar there. And we did problem 53 in class. And that concludes our homework.